Hi everyone, welcome to my seminar about Linux size coding. In Linux 4 case, you're typically going to use OpenGL with SDL or GTK or whatever. You need dynamic linking for that. That's not really feasible here because there's just too much overhead size-wise. So you're going to use a different approach to get visuals on screen. And that also means that you'll have static binary and you'll have to do syscalls manually. So for assembler on x86, you really want to use NASM because the GNU assembler is just not good for x86. But for other instruction sets, it's okay, the GNU one. Documentation, there's man pages, which you can just use about what syscalls do and which files, which fields of the ELF format do what. The numbers of syscalls themselves are not documented in the man pages, so you'll have to use this one include header. Now, the ELF header is relatively large, but there's a classical text about how you can work around that. The Linux Sizecoding wiki also has a few extra information links about what actually happens when a process starts up, which might be useful. How are you going to do these syscalls? Because you have to do them because you don't have libc. And when a process starts up, you only have a giant block of memory and nothing else. So you'll have to open certain device files and then call ioctl and mmap. Which instructions to use and what registers should contain which arguments. That's defined in the API and LSB documentation. And there's a link here. Whoops. You probably want to use compression, until it becomes not feasible anymore due to the overhead of that. But 4K tools like Fontaine also have too much overhead, so you'll have to use a shell dropper. But you'll have to look out because /temp may sometimes be no exec and stuff. But the nload has a small shell dropper, so you can use that one. For graphics, there's the FBDEF, which just gives you a single full screen frame buffer. Using /dev/fb0, there's also this header with more information. There's the VFB kernel module, which you can use for testing within your graphical environment, which is useful. Also, you can also capture using that. Tile-based stuff, there's also a tile-based thing called VCSA, which has a redefinable Platin character set, which is nice. There's also a man page which has details about it. If you want, you can also use just standard out and ASCII escape codes for colors and stuff. That's defined in this man page. If you really want, you can also use X11, which TCP magic, but it's really annoying. Don't do it unless you hate yourself. Now, if you want to use FBDEF or VCSA, you'll have to get out of Wayland, so you have to use this magic key combination. And you'll also have to be in the video group because otherwise you cannot access these device files. Sound, ALSA is annoying, and OSS, this /dev/DSP is deprecated and not enabled by default. So what you probably want to do is use pipe apply in a shell dropper, or maybe call eSpeak or something. Be creative. As an example, I brought here just been Alpha by Gulp, which uses the FBDEF and OSS audio output to show this X-horn pattern animation thing. That's about it. Go make an intro.